for everything Royal Caribbean related. RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com. Happy Monday. Every Monday, we're hanging out with you, talking about the most important thing in the whole wide world, which is, of course, going on at Royal Caribbean Cruise. Thank you for joining us here. We're here to answer as many questions as we can. When we're not here, we're live at RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com. And as I said, we're going to answer as many questions as we can. But we're going to start with the most important question, which is how many days until your next Royal Caribbean cruise? Type your countdown in chat. And hello to everybody watching us on the replay today. Always good seeing you as well. Lots of friends in the chat already. We actually started off with a super chat even before we started from Grumpy and V. Thank you, Grumpy and V. 92 days till Navigator, 262 till Symphony. Grumpy and V says, when are the rooms usually ready when you board? Usually about 1 o'clock, maybe as late as 2, but usually 1. Disembarkation date, what time do they kick you off the ship? Around 9-ish would be probably the latest you're going to be staying on board, quite frankly. So, Sub-Zippo, 7 days till Independence of the Seas. Don Moores, hello, it is good to see you. Daily Thinkers, we're starting. We're here to answer as many Royal Caribbean Cruise questions as possible. Type your question in chat. Let's jump into it. Starting off with Matt Manovich with a super chat off the bat. Love that. Thank you, Matt. What's up? Can't wait for our cruise March 20th on the Odyssey. Hoping to upgrade to a Star Suite. Any word on boosters becoming mandatory? Can't wait for Cocoa Beach Club with the cabana. No, there's been absolutely no word. Thank you for the super chat. There's been absolutely no word from Royal Caribbean about if or when they may require boosters. There's just, so that's the answer to your question in its most basic form is there's been no update on boosters being required. Some other cruise lines, like not the major ones, we're not talking Royal Caribbean, Carnival, Norwegian, like not the big ones. Some smaller cruise lines, maybe in Europe, are requiring it, but Royal has not even said a word about it. To me, on the outside, I don't know more than you do, Matt. It would seem to me that if they haven't required it already, why would they start now? It seems like they would have done that a while ago, but I'm not an epidemiologist or a public health expert, so what do I know? But there's been no update on that front. Hey, Tri-State Killer in the house. Axel is here as well. Joseph Tricario is here as well. It was a fun name to say. Ross, hello. Good to see you. Susan Westfall joining in. Hello from Anthem of the Seas. Love when we have friends checking in from onboard Royal Caribbean ships. 174 to the Mariner Group Cruise. Can't wait. Tri-State says, with the updated mask protocols for departures through February 14th, does this mean my sailing on February 13th is locked in for a mask for the entire sailing or the lifted mid-cruise? No, it'll be lifted. It's locked in for the entire sailing, Tri-State. So if you're not aware, Royal Caribbean last week extended the stricter face mask protocols, which basically means you need to wear your face mask in indoor locations, including vaccinated zones. This has been in place since about mid-December. Anyway, they just extended those rules. And yes, that would include your sailing, Tri-State Killer. And I will bet you a beer at the pub that they will extend it again. I just have a hard time believing they wouldn't, given everything where things are now. But you never know. But yes, it includes the duration of your sailing. Those dates are for when the ship actually sails. Daily Thinkers wants to know, how excited am I for the new Wonder of the Seas? I love new ships, and I cannot lie. And new Oasis class, very excited for this. It's going to be really, really amazing. Gary Miller Jr., hello. Heather, what's going on? When you buy a beverage package, does the price per day include the last day of your cruise? Yeah, actually, Heather, when you buy a drink package, you're not actually paying per day. You're paying per night. And so, yes, that includes embarkation day and the last day of your cruise, disembarkation day. So there you go. That kind of makes up that last final day, if you will. But yep, absolutely. Got some super chats to get it too. Starting off with, I don't even know how to pronounce his name. I apologize, but thank you for the super chat. I will look for your question in the chat. Thank you very much. Thank you. Christy Murphy from Texas. Hello. Michelle Prose. Hello. Becky Menken from MEI Travel is here. Hello, Becky. Thanks for joining us. Kim Oakland with an epic super chat. Woo! Am I able to change a cruise if it's before final payment? Yes. I mean, you don't actually change your cruise, meaning I assume what you mean, Kim, you want to change either the ship, the sail date, or both. You can't really transfer per se. What you're really doing is canceling and rebooking. And yes, you can do that provided you booked a refundable cruise fare. If you book non-refundable cruise fare, you could still do this. Traditionally, there'd be a penalty with it, but under the Cruise with Confidence program, you can get a 100% future cruise credit with no penalty and then do that. So that's essentially what you're doing. But yes, before final payment date, you don't have to worry about that. With cruise confidence, Kim, it kind of, the lines are blurred a little bit because you could change your mind, as you know, up to 48 hours before your cruise and cancel and then rebook. But there really isn't a true mechanism for taking a cruise on a reservation that you have on this ship and this date and moving it to the same ship and different date or some other. There's no transfer option, if that makes sense. But to answer your question again, before a final payment date, if you have a refundable cruise fare, you absolutely just get your money back, and then you're free to book something else. Otherwise, if you have non-refundable cruise fare, I would advise you to book under or cancel under Cruise with Confidence, and then be able to rebook, and then either put cash down first and then put that FCC on later on, or wait for the FCC. I'd also point out sometimes travel agents have a little more luck with moving things around there, but I can't explain their voodoo and their black magic that they do. Hey, Scotty 5000, thank you for the super chat. I do appreciate it. Thank you. Bassfish, we're going on the Odyssey of the Seas soon. How do I book North Star and Ripcord by iFly? You have to wait till you get on board the ship. Once you're on board the ship, connect your Royal Caribbean's Wi-Fi, then go into and make the reservations. And no, you don't need to have you don't have to have an internet package in order to connect to the Royal Caribbean's Wi-Fi if you're just using the app. No problem at all. So, Andrew wants to know, how big is Adventure of the Seas would you recommend I go on it? It's a Voyager class ship, so it's basically these days it's a medium-sized ship / large ship. And I would recommend. I love Adventure of the Seas. It's absolutely fantastic. Went on Adventure twice back in June. Loved it. David Grossi, thank you for the super chat. Thank you. I'm keeping an eye out here for Scotty and any other super chats I might have missed. Sometimes the message comes separated from the others. There's David's question here. Matt, if I book a next cruise on the ship, do I have to pick a cruise or can I leave it open to give it a deposit and pick a cruise within 30 or 60 days? You can do either way. I recommend, David, actually making a reservation, like booking a specific sailing, even if you're not going to go on it. The reason being, you get actually more money, more onboard credit. It's more lucrative to book something specifically. And you can change your mind. Book refundable cruise fare, book something out like as far out as you can, and then you can move that around and the next cruise benefit still follows you. But you can do what's called an open booking. And then you have a certain amount of time to apply it. Just make sure you do so. But you absolutely could do that. Yeah. Madison Lee says, if I were to order coffee in the morning to my room, is there a service charge? And if so, and I use the room service later that day, is there another charge? The answer to your question is yes. Every order has a charge. But to answer your question, the continental breakfast option is complimentary. So that would cover you in that scenario, and that would be complimentary. But in general, Madison, if you were to, whether it's lunch or something else, the fee is per order. Doesn't matter how many times you order it per day. That is absolutely the case. Next question is from next super chat is from Jay. Thank you, Jay. 46 days till embarkation. Sailing on Sunday. Do we take our PCR on Friday or Saturday to meet the 2-day requirement? Jay, number one, don't do a PCR test. Get an antigen test. The reason being, PCRs can take way too long for the results to get back. The answer to your question is you could do either one, Friday or Saturday. For fully vaccinated, you have 2 days before your cruise in order for it to be okay. The day of your cruise does not count, so your cruise leaves on Sunday. Saturday, Friday is fine. But if it were me, I'd get a rapid antigen test. The results come back in like an hour. PCRs can take 24, 48 hours. I'd hate for you to be biting your nails waiting for those results to come back. It's just not worth the game, quite frankly. So if you have an opportunity, I would definitely recommend getting the antigen test over the PCR, regardless of which one you do. Friday or Saturday is totally fine. And no, Jay, it does not matter what time of the day. Royal Caribbean doesn't do hours. It's just calendar days. That's all that matters there. Chris has got a question from the UK. Anthem of the Seas is coming here for May. Do you think all cruises in the UK will go ahead in May? Royal Caribbean change this? I mean, obviously, Chris, I can't predict the future. I certainly have no reason to believe as of right now anything will change in terms of those plans for Anthem and all the European deployments to go forward. Things change until they don't change, right? And the good news, Chris, is you may have noticed, is over the winter, a lot of ships sailing out of the UK have been able to go, whether it's P&O or some of the other UK brands that are out there. I know our good friend Emma from Emma Cruises was on a cruise over Christmas, and it was like a 12-night cruise. She had no problems. So I would imagine, yes, the answer is yes until you're told otherwise. I would imagine that'd be the case. Sub Zippo's got a question for us. I got a letter to show up an hour after my check-in window, but earlier windows than what I chose are still available. Should I just pick an earlier window and show up after it? Yeah, I don't know, dude. This is a good question. So Sub Zippo is basically saying he did online check-in, 45 days ago, right? before 30 days ago. And now Royal Caribbean sent an email said, hey, we're going to do some extra sanitation. Show up an hour later than your time booked. Well, if he goes back in and changes his time, which time would that be? I I really don't know what the answer is to this one. I would probably still plan to come my usual time. Since you don't have the first time slot, I just pick your time slot. I'm sure it'll be fine. I know that they've been more stringent about the check-in times, but that's like, I don't know, maybe someone in our chat has an answer for this one, but I don't know. Leroy Roberson, thank you, Leroy, for the super chat. I'll keep an eye out for your question here. Brian wants to know, why is Harmony of the Seas my favorite Royal Caribbean ship? What sets it apart from other Oasis-class ships? Well, it's a great question. I love the entertainment and the dining on there. When Harmony first came out, she was a real revelation. Remember, she came out third Oasis-class ship, so after Oasis and Allure, big deal. Symphony was so similar to Harmony, but I just prefer some of the shows and dining on Harmony versus Symphony, so that kind of does it for me. You know, you can't explain love, Brian, but you know when you see it kind of situation. Michael, when will the Port of Baltimore open? When will Baltimore Port, if call, open? Port of Baltimore's been open for a while, dude. Royal Caribbean restarted cruises back in right before Christmas, actually. So they're open. Brian J, thank you for the super chat. I appreciate you. Thank you. Looking out for Leroy, and I'm looking out for Brian J. Here's Leroy. I found Leroy's question. 80 days till Mariner this is my first on Royal Caribbean. You're going to have an awesome time. I absolutely love Mariner of the Seas. Fantastic. Andrew says, would you recommend I go on adventure this season? Yeah, I think we answered this already, but yes, absolutely. Yep. We have a question from Joseph Hickey who wants to know, we're leaving on Symphony on February 12th, and just to notice the travel agent made our dining time 5:30. Is it too late to change that? Nope. Just let your travel agent know to make the change. If they're all booked up, ask to be put on the waiting list. And if all else fails, Joseph, you're still on that waiting list, you're still stuck at 5:30. When you get on board the ship, go to the main dining room, ask to speak to the head waiter. I'd go there in the afternoon, like 1 or 2 o'clock, and ask to be moved. They're usually pretty accommodating about that. Madison, your favorite triplets are here. Happy belated birthday, by the way. If I were to order coffee in the morning in my room, we answered this question already, but I didn't get a chance to say happy belated birthday. So happy belated birthday. The Teresa McChain with a super chat. Thank you, Teresa. 5 days till events of the season. It's going to be cold. Can you talk to weather gods in Florida, please? Nope, I'm rooting against you. I got to be honest, Teresa. I'm keeping it real here. I love cold weather in Florida because most of the year it's like 90 and 100% humidity. I got to enjoy it while I can. Comfortable outdoor weather. So sorry, not sorry. I'm not rooting for better weather for you, but thank you for the super chat. Not to seem disingenuous, but Mission Gaming wants to know, do you think cruising restrictions will be eased in summer 2022? The answer is, I have no idea. I don't think anyone really knows that idea. It's just too far out to know, quite frankly. Certainly, everything is based on where COVID-19 is, right? Right now, Omicron looks like it's peaking. I don't know if that's confirmed or not. But, if cases are down, we will definitely see the protocols be rolled back. And the longer the cases are down, the longer period of time we have where there's not these massive surges in cases, the better it is, the better chances there are for the protocols to be rolled back. I mean, Royal Caribbean and all the cruise lines are just playing reaction to what's happening out there in the real world. And they're just kind of rolling with the punches, quite frankly. So I don't know the answer what'll happen in the summer, but I do believe that it's definitely tied to the current case counts and kind of what the world is doing essentially as it relates to COVID and whatnot. So Daily Thinkers wants to know, can you buy your drink package on your cruise or is it before your cruise? Either way, but definitely buy your drink package before your cruise because it will cost you more money if you purchase it on board the ship. Always pre-purchase via the Royal Caribbean's Cruise Planner website. Daniel Soroka is here. What's up, Daniel? If I have a cruise booked at the end of April, will the app tell me the date I can do my online check-in? Yes. If it's not available yet, Daniel, when you go to the Royal Caribbean app and you log in and you go to your thing to do the check-in, it will say online check-in will open on whatever date that is. Write down that date and then come on back there. So, Michael Graham, what's the best way to get from Orlando Airport to a hotel near Port Canaveral when arriving a day early? I like Lyft and Uber. It's easy and super simple. I just think it's just the easiest, quickest way. I mean, there are shuttle services that are cheaper. I don't love shuttle services. Number one, I don't like moving on someone else's schedule. Number two, I also don't want to be in a confined space with other people in this day and age of COVID. The last thing I want to do is catch COVID after I've flown and I'm driving to the port and I'm on the last leg of that journey. I want to take every precaution possible. So for me, the Lyft or Uber is a little more, I don't want to say safer, because I'm not saying anything's safe or not safe, but it reduces the risk factors, if you ask me, in my not so scientific opinion. Michael Graham, thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it, Michael. I'll keep an eye out for your question here. I see Jennifer Kelln from MEI Travel. It's good to see you. Otter says, Otter be baking. I see what you did there. When do you think they'll release the cruise itineraries for summer 23? It's actually coming out in March and April. Royal Caribbean posted the schedule a little while ago, a couple weeks ago. I posted it at royalcaribbeanblog.com, but it'll be coming out in March and April timeframe. So they're coming out a little piecemeal, a week at a time. Samantha Brown, love your TV show. Thank you for the super chat. 27 days till Oasis of the Seas. Thanks so much, Matt, for your videos. So helpful when planning my first cruise. That is fantastic. You picked a great ship. I love Oasis of the Seas. The upgrades that she got in 2019 under the Royal Amplified program was tremendous. I think while I love Harmony, it's hard not to overlook Oasis of the Seas. It's so good. Sandy says, there were 2 earthquakes in Haiti today. Do you think it affected a possible Labadee opening? I don't think so. Remember, Labadee is in the extreme northwest corner of Haiti. It's not near Port-au-Prince. Haiti's not a big country, but keep it in perspective, quite frankly. So I don't have any reason yet to believe that'll be a change there. Obviously, something could change, but I have no reason to believe so. Hey, Ray, thank you for the super chat. Do appreciate it. Is Royal Caribbean still doing double points for current sailings? They are not. If you booked under the program, it applies, but new bookings, no. Royal Caribbean has not brought back the double points over there. Sorry, my system is being a little weird here. Michael Graham. I was trying to remember who gave me that super chat before. I'm trying my best here, guys. There's like so many questions. I love it, and I'm trying to get to as many as I can. Kathy, thank you for the super chat. Do appreciate it. I gotta keep an eye out for you as well. Sean wants to know, does Royal Caribbean accept any FDA approval at-home proctored test, or do they have a specific test? The only one that they approve right now that Royal Caribbean accepts is the Abbott Binax home AG card test you can buy from emed.com or Optum. Unfortunately, as you probably already know, they don't ship those to Canada, but you could do something else, Sean. If you're coming in at least a day ahead of time, you could have it shipped to your hotel you're going to. Call the hotel first, make sure they'll hold it for you, and have it shipped to the hotel and then use it over there. That would be an option, but that's the only one that's available. Andrew, will Mustard 2.0 be permanent? I believe so. Yeah, there's no reason to believe not so. So, yep. Let's see. Next question is from Mike Wright. Mike, thank you for the super chat. We're selling February 13th through the Western Caribbean. What's the weather like? It's going to be warm. February is already the tropics are always warm. Keep that in mind. Whatever happens here in the States, irrelevant. In the tropics, the Caribbean, it stays warm. Most of the day is going to be the humidity levels. And of course, the February is the dry season. So you likely won't get it as much rain as you might if you're going on the cruise in June per se. But it's a very comfortable time to go out there. So you should expect shorts and short sleeves. Does it get windy and cold at night? Depends on where your ship is and whatnot. But you'll be more comfortable than any. I would plan on this, Mike. I know what you're asking, trying to decide on clothing. I would pack mostly shorts and short sleeves. I'd pack, whatever you're going to be wearing for dinner, which maybe already be, jeans or pants or something like that. Maybe one sweater, and you can probably just wear that sweater on the airplane on your way down. But it's going to be warm. February, you already start getting some warmer trends in the tropics, certainly. I would expect temperatures in the 70s and 80s, to be perfectly honest with you. So, Eric Floyd, thank you for the super chat. Do appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for your generosity tonight. You guys are being very, very kind. It really, really means a lot. Of course, as you know, the super chats are not required, but it certainly means a lot. So thank you guys for your support. I do appreciate it. Royal Johnny wants to know, if I'm walking around the ship with a glass cocktail when I'm done drinking it, where do I return the glass to? The same venue I got it from? That's an excellent question. I don't think I've ever gotten this one before. It actually doesn't matter. You can return it to any venue, anywhere. You can put it on a table, a bar. It does not matter if you got the drink at the Schooner Bar and you're walking by the pub or you're walking by the Windjammer. It doesn't matter. it will find its way back home. Not to worry. Not to worry. Tai Wu Lee with the super chat. Woo! Thank you, Tai Wu. Will I be required to get a booster shot to continue cruising this year? As of right now, the answer is no. Could that change? Absolutely. We talked a little bit about this earlier in the broadcast, Tai Wu, but I mean, listen, Royal has not said a word on it. I would have thought with Omicron that if they were going to do the booster shot requirement, they would have done it a while ago. So right now, I have no reason to believe that it's going to be required. Could that change? Yes. But like I said, right now, none of the major cruise lines here in the U.S. have required it. I know there's some in like Europe and the very small ones, like 2-week cruises, something like that. I don't usually count them as a leading indicator of anything, but I don't have anything again, no reason to believe as of right now anyway. So, next question is from Brentco. Will Allure the seats punch a hole in your SeaPass card, or do you need to take a plastic ID holder? I think for Allure, you need the plastic ID holder because it's RFID. So I would bring the holder just to be safe. That way you're covered no matter what. Next question is from Mark wants to know, what are the capacities for the ships booking up to? It really depends. Royal Caribbean does not tell people in advance what the capacities will be. And on the other side of the factor of all this is the fact that right now in January, it's a pretty slow time for the cruise industry to begin with. So even if there was an Omicron, they wouldn't be, there's not a huge amount of demand right now in January because everybody just had vacation over Christmas and New Year's, and you've got vacation coming up maybe over President's Day. So who the heck is taking vacation time and pulling their kids out of school now, right? But I know that on Brilliance of the Seas, this current sailing has about 900 people on board, which is really low. Harmony of the Seas last week had about 2,500 passengers on board. So it just depends. But they've basically been, since Omicron, Mark, they've been mostly towing the line of where they were, maybe bringing it back a little bit. But that's about it. Hope that makes sense. Let's see. D Streeter wants to know recommendations for what to do in Honduras. Roatan, I went to a great place called the Mayan Princess. It's a resort you can book a day pass through via the Royal Caribbean website. Actually, it's sold through Royal Caribbean. I did it a couple of years ago. I liked it quite a bit. As Mayan Princess, I've reviewed it at royalcaribbeanblog.com. I think it's a good choice. And I've only been to Roatan like twice, and that was one time we went over there, and that was actually not bad. Ryan, thank you for the super chat. Appreciate it, buddy. Thank you for the great content. If ever cruise out of Cape Liberty, New Jersey, yes, many times, considering it for an upcoming trip. Yeah, all the time. I used to live in Connecticut, and before that in New York as well. Anyway, long story short, we've done a number of cruises out of New York. It's fantastic. I imagine, Ryan, the reason you're asking is because you live in the Northeast somewhere, and if you can drive there, it's fantastic. The downside of cruising out of New Jersey is that you got to take about a day or two to get down into the tropics, right? It literally takes that long for the ship to get from New Jersey down the eastern seaboard and then into the Bahamas and wherever it's going. So it takes a little bit longer to get there. During the wintertime, it can be a little chillier on the first day and the last day, but not having to fly is worth it every single time. So, yep. Next super chat coming in from Good Tea Nice House. Thank you for the super chat. When and what was your first Royal Caribbean ship? It was Explorer of the Seas, I believe in 2006. Have you tried other cruise lines? Yes, I've been on Disney Cruise Line a number of times and Norwegian Cruise Line once. I've never looked back. Disney Cruise Line, I started out on Disney. Disney's prices went from expensive to insanely expensive. I don't know how anybody justifies the Disney Cruise Line prices for what the Disney Cruise Line experience is, but I digress. And I went on one Norwegian cruise because I lived in New York. My parents paid for it, and I wasn't going to turn that down. But I was like, okay, this is fine, but I'm going back to Royal Caribbean. So thank you for the super chat. Do appreciate it. Bass wants to know, when will Icon of the Seas bookings come out? I have no idea. Royal Caribbean has not announced that yet. Delivery of the ship is expected I believe in the third quarter, late this year. I don't know when bookings will come out for. Remember, Bass Fish, right now, Wonder of the Seas is the new hotness. Royal Caribbean's going to be focusing on that. So I wouldn't expect anything until maybe later this spring or into the summer, because right now they want everything focused on Wonder of the Seas. That's the big new hotness. So, yeah. Let's get a drink of water here, and then Madison Lee, thank you for the super chat. Happy belated birthday to the triplets. The answer to your question, if I get COVID during my cruise, do they move me to a different cabin? I have tomorrow's video is answering this exact question. The answer is yes. If you catch COVID, they're moving you to a different quarantine cabin. But I'm going to go into much greater detail than that in tomorrow's video on our YouTube channel. Check it out. Be up around 10 a.m. tomorrow morning, so Eastern time. Check that out. It will answer your question for sure. PSC Gammy says, Matt, not sure if you remember me, but I wanted to thank you for basically planning my Mariner cruise. We had a great time. That is fantastic. So glad to hear. Now, here's a better question, PSC. Did you book another cruise? You have something else to look forward to. You got to keep the ball rolling, quite frankly. I'm going to answer this one. I thought about it. A passenger died last week on Oasis due to medical reasons, according to a new broadcast in Miami. That was a charter cruise from a group that has a history of people dying on their sailings. I, frankly, personally don't think Roller should be doing business with this charter company, but it is what it is. Anyway, it's not a passenger. It's not from COVID, and it's not a regular passenger sailing. I'll just say that. I wouldn't pay any attention to it, Wu-Tang. You will never have that kind of experience on your cruise unless you book that particular charter. So we'll just leave it at that. Cruise Addicts, thank you for the super chat. Hey, Matt, planning to do an Alaska cruise. Can't make a decision to which ship, Quantum or Ovation. All things being equal, and if you've never done either, and you've never done Alaska, I'd pick Ovation. Ovation is just a newer ship. There's just an advantage there, but Quantum is going to be cheaper. They both go out of Seattle. I imagine Quantum will be cheaper. But they're both great. Quantum class ships. It's just Ovation has a little more, it's a little newer. It's a little nicer because it's newer. I might lean in that direction a little bit, but they're both fantastic ships. I know that Becky Menken in our chat loves the Quantum class. So, next question is from Tomaine Jordan. Thank you. Samantha Brown, we're on the same ship. Join our Facebook. Okay, this is a message to Samantha Brown, but Tomaine, thank you for the super chat. Here you go, Samantha. You've got a purse. You've got mail. Mike, when will Wonder of the Seas show up on the app? Sometime between now and when she, excuse me, that water went straight to my, anyway, between now and when she launches, not to worry, Mike. I guarantee you she will be in the app. I would bet you anything that's the case. So, Ian from the UK. Got a lot of people staying up late in the UK. Thank you, guys. Referring gratuities, which we excluded. Wait, what? First cruise was booked for Odyssey this season 23. Ref gratuities. I don't know what that ref means. So, gratuities, which we excluded. Was this the right thing to do? Surely we can tip in cash if we want to. Yes, provided you do what you say you tip. I know that culturally tipping in the United States and the United Kingdom is different. I get that. However, as an American cruise line, and there are people who disagree with me on this one, but I'm telling you, this is the reality. Gratuities are compulsory on Royal Caribbean. I know that in the academic sense of the word, gratuities are optional. They're really not. They're just part of the overall cruise cost. Just not. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. In fact, I would prefer they just rolled it as part of the cruise fare. And I'd also point out, in a lot of cases, I'd double check your cruise, what you booked. I know a lot of times in the UK and Australia for sure, they just bake it in to the cruise fare, and they're just like, we're not dealing with this anymore. So double check it's not part of your cruise fare. If it's not, I'm only going to tell you that the wait staff in the dining room, your stateroom attendant work very hard for you. They deserve it. Should it be part of the cruise fare? Should Royal just pay them extra and then make the gratuities truly optional? Yeah, I would agree with that 100%. I would sign up for that in a heartbeat. But it's just the way the system is right now, for better or worse. So just make sure it's okay not to have them automatic. I prefer them automatic. It's just less thinking and less work for you. But if you prefer that, to give out the gratuities in cash, you can absolutely do that. That is totally fine. Just make sure you do it and make sure you cover the people you're supposed to be covering, your dining room staff, your stateroom attendant. That's all. And so I don't want to, pass judgment at all. I know it's different. And certainly if I was going to the UK, I know there's certainly some social norms that are different there than here in the US. P&K, thank you for the super chat. Booked February 14th, Brilliance of the Seas today. Have Coco Key covered. Any suggestions for 2 barely senior travelers in Nassau? Barely senior. Thank you for your generosity with the super chat today. All right, what would I recommend for barely senior travelers in Nassau? There's a couple things that jump out at me. Number one, a day pass to a resort. We just had actually, we recently, me and Jenna, our editor, both independently visited different resorts to day pass resorts. Resortforday.com offers day passes to places like, I think the British Colonial Hilton. I don't know if they're still open. I heard they're not. Anyway, And then also the Warwick Hotel, which is the one that Jenna just went to the other week. If you want to do that, basically, if you're getting a day pass as a resort, you can use their facilities, the pool, the beach, other things perhaps as well. And it may even include food or drink in some capacity. That's an option for you. You can certainly do a Royal Caribbean shore excursion. There's many that are available to you as well. But a lot of people also just treat Nassau, quite frankly, as kind of a sea day. They just stay on board the ship. So if you're looking for an animal encounter, I'd recommend the Blue Lagoon. Those are really, really good. Scotty wants to know, how often do those beach beds on Perfect Day at Coco Key go on sale? It can vary. It's just like many things, Scott. Sometimes, like, not everything goes on sale at the same time or with any kind of regularity. Sometimes one thing is on sale, sometimes something else. So it really depends. Mission Gaming, does Royal Caribbean typically have two ships simultaneously docked to Perfect Day? It's pretty regular. I wouldn't say typically, but it's pretty regular. It's more of a common occurrence than it's not, if that makes sense. Dawn and Sherry, thank you for the super chat. 90 Days to Harmony of the Seas. Yeah, baby. Also booked on Oasis for December as a college grad gift to my daughter, Catherine. Congratulations, Catherine. Really enjoy your channel. Thanks for all you do. Well, thank you so much, Dave and Sherry. I really appreciate your generosity. I think you're going to have an awesome, awesome time. Sharon Stockman is here. Hello, Sharon. It is always good to see you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We have another question from Kathy Crandell. If we're staying in Vancouver overnight after our last cruise, how did we get a COVID test to get back in the U.S.? Will they do it on the ship? That's a great question. I don't know, because obviously with Alaska, the season was different last year than it is going to be this year. I'd have to wait and see on that. At the very least, Kathy, if I were you, I might buy some extra at-home tests and bring those. You can do those from anywhere. You can do from the hotel room, and that might be a good backup. I can't promise you one way or another what Royal may or may not do as it relates to giving you a test to go back home, but I can tell you that I'm in the same situation. I've got a cruise out of Vancouver as well in May. I'm going to be bringing some extra COVID tests, those at-home tests, just in case. So that way I'm covered no matter what. Certainly there'll be testing facilities in the airport and that you could probably get as well. So you could also look at that ahead of time, just to, back up, cover your bases, those kinds of things right there. Jamie wants to know, if we get a deal on a sailing and gives you onboard credit and then you go and use it before doing a reprice, doesn't wait, what? If you get a deal on a sailing that gives you onboard credit and then you go and use it before doing a reprice, do you have to pay back the original onboard credit? I see what you're asking. Like, if you basically, Jamie's saying, if you booked a cruise and the price was X and they give you $100 onboard credit and then they rebooked and the price was Y, and no more onboard credit, but the base fare is cheaper. I don't know how that works. They know where you live, Jamie. They're going to find you, I'd imagine. I got to think. It's a great question. I'm not sure the answer. Maybe somebody in our chat knows that, but yeah. Dave Grossi, thank you for a super chat. What is the largest dinner table size in the main dining room? We have 10 or 11 people going on Anthem. I don't know specifically based on like Anthem of the Seas versus another ship. Certainly, I think 12 is the uppermost limit that I've ever seen. I don't think I've ever seen anything larger than that, but I can't promise you. There's not many tables that are that large, David. So I can't really give you a good answer then. I'm sorry to hear that. I'm 0 for 2 on answers right now. I gotta hopefully I don't strike out here. Trending, California, are vaccines mandatory for all ships as of now? Yes. If you're above the age of 12 or above, the answer is yes. If you're below 12, then they're not required. Let's see. Leroy wants to know how often they restock. If you can't find them at the Royal Caribbean website, go to emed.com, Leroy. They're available right now. emed.com. It's the exact same test. It's a 6-pack, but I think it's well worth it. That's where I buy mine from anyway. emed.com. NYC Lover for Life, thank you for the super chat. Hey, Matt, thanks for all the good information you provide. Question, how's the Wi-Fi on Odyssey for a work-from-home setup looking for a transatlantic? Odyssey's Wi-Fi is fantastic. It has the true high speed, so I would imagine you'd be able to do your work from there. I did some work while I was on Odyssey of the Seas, so the answer is yeah, you should be good. You should be covered. I mean, transatlantic can be a little, you're literally across the Atlantic, but Odyssey's is pretty good. Mike wants to know, do I know the next sale? Didn't they just extend the one that's currently going? I'm going to double check for you, though, dude. Hold on a second. The answer to your question is January 28th. Nope. January 28th. to February 1st, Mike. So Jan 28 will be the next one. Don't tell him I told you that, but Jan 28. Tony Diaz is here. Hello. Welcome. 12th man proud with an amazing super chat. Woo! Thank you, 12th man proud. I'm sorry for getting so late to these quizzes. So many questions here. Does Royal Caribbean ever give out any trinkets for anything on the inaugural selling like Wonder? If you're on the true inaugural, which I know you're on I believe you're on the March 4th one, you could expect some trinkets, yes. What they'll be, I seem to recall there being, well, certainly some sort of it's a printout. I don't want to call it a plaque, but it's a piece of paper on nice stock. It says, "Congratulations, 12th man proud, sailed on the inaugural sailing." Sometimes there can be other things like special Wonder of the Seas souvenirs and whatnot, tchotchkes. But yes, the answer is typically yes, but don't bet on it. Don't expect to bring a suitcase full of stuff home. I wouldn't go quite that far. Let's see here. Betty Eakin wants to know how long for port changes to appear on the app when we lose some ports. It really depends. It depends. I mean, it's Royal Caribbean's IT system. Sometimes it's a matter of days, sometimes a little bit longer. But usually at least a couple days, Betty. When we were on what ship was that? Harmony of the Seas. We had a port change at the last minute, and they made the change in about 2 days or so. Now, granted, that was like super last minute, and they wanted to get people booking short excursions, but it's entirely possible. Next question is from Superstarian. Going on July, Royal Caribbean Blog Group Cruise, woo woo. Cruise planners excursions for 2 ports. Do you have any idea when I expect the other ports? I've never booked this far in advance. I don't know the answer to your question. I mean, it's like one of those. Basically, the answer is when it's available, it will be available. But keep an eye on it. You got plenty of time, Superstarian. It's I wouldn't even bother looking at it until maybe March or April, May, sometime like that. It will eventually show up in there. And in the meantime, you can look at non-Royal Caribbean excursions if you'd like to. But it will eventually load in there. And I'm looking forward to seeing you on board. That's going to be fantastic. Can't wait. Going back to those very young seniors. Well, Ron is on the other end of the spectrum. What's up, Ron? Good to see you. Randy Patrick, thank you for the super chat. Appreciate it, buddy. Thank you. Sorry, got here on here late, but 3 days till Brilliance of the Seas. I love Brilliance. It's 18 degrees in Indiana, so ready for some Florida Caribbean climate this week. Well, Florida's not so warm right now, but when you get down to the Caribbean, it'll be great. Relatively speaking, it is warmer than you are, and I'm a big baby here in Florida, and we make a big deal when it drops below 70 as being cold. But you'll have a great time, Randy. Awesome stuff. Let's see here. Next question is from Neela Rosenstein. Thank you, Neil. Appreciate it. Bought the 3-night dining package. What all is included? Great question. So with your 3-night, first of all, thank you for your generosity. With second of all, to answer your question, we have a 3-night dining package. That means on the ship you can go to 3 meals at any specialty restaurant you'd like to, and the cover charge is included. That's the cover charge. So alcohol or drinks would be extra, unless you have a drink package, of course. The exceptions to what the 3-night dining package excludes is the chef's table. If you're going to Izumi, I don't know what ship you're on. If there is an Izumi hibachi option, there'll be a $10 surcharge for it. But, you go to Chops, Jamie's, Giovanni's, Sabor. Those are included there, and it covers your cover charge. And you'll get a $0 bill for your cover charge, which is really nice. And it absolutely will save you money. So did a nice job right there. RA, thank you for the super chat. Have you ever been on Grandeur? I've not been on Grandeur. I've been on our sister ship, Rhapsody of the Seas. Just booked the surprise trip for my family for 5 nights in Mexico. We're first timers. Ooh, RA, check out. I posted last week, so this past week, a live report from Grandeur. We had a great person on there, Keely, reported from Grandeur and answered some questions about that sailing. That's at royalcaribbeanblog.com. It's either on the homepage or right below the homepage on the next page. Anyway, check that out, RA. I think that'll help you out quite a bit. Let's see. Slim M5, thank you for the super chat. Sailing on Symphony May. Is St. Martin Airport excursion worth it? Also torn between 2 specialty restaurants, hibachi and Chops. I do hibachi, 100%. That's an easy one. St. Martin Airport excursion. So, the Maho Beach is the beach they're talking about. That's that beach in St. Martin where you stand on the beach and the airplanes come in and they land on right on top of your on top of your heads. It's really cool. It's a tourist trap. It is. You're just literally, it's a sliver of beach right against the airport fence, and you're just waiting for airplanes to come by. It's not the nicest beach in all of St. Martin. It's not terrible, but there are far better beaches. You're really there because you're waiting for airplanes to go. It's a tourist trap. However, I've been there because I had to get there myself. It's something, I think it is worth doing at least once. Why not? It's fun. Just keep in mind there is zero shade over there. So I don't know. You're going in May. It's going to be hot. Pack sunscreen. Hope you're not if you burn easily. Put on lots of sunscreen. Maybe get a rash guard to protect yourself. Anyway, but it's a fun tourist trap because when the airplanes do come, it's really cool. So personally, I would just take a taxi over there. That way, when you're done, you're like, all right, been there, done that. You can immediately go on the taxi and go on your own way. But it's called Maho Beach, Maho. If you want to book it on your own, it's very easy. It's a very short drive from where your cruise ship docks. You can even just tell the driver in the taxi, bring me to the airport beach. They know exactly what you're talking about. Next question. Jen from Connecticut. We always answer our Connecticut friends. Really not the policy. I just happened to see it. I had a cruise that I repriced that had onboard credit, and they took back the onboard credit because it was a different promotion. There you go. I think what they were asking, though, Jen, to go back to I appreciate the answer, first of all. They were asking basically if you had booked something with that, if you already spent the onboard credit, how does that work? I imagine they're coming back for it, Brandy says, onboard credit got applied to my 13-year-old daughter in her room. Does she have to use her CPAS to use onboard credit, or does it roll over to anyone on the link booking? Great question. So if you just left everything alone right now, when you get on board the ship, you're right. It will be on her account. You can go to guest service. I've done this many times because my kids get them sometimes onboard credit, and I'll tell the guest service, hey, the onboard credit is on my daughter's account, who's 11 years old and 7 years old. Can you just put it on mine? They have no problems moving those around. So at the very least, it's a quick trip to guest services. Take care of that. Mosher 2. Not even close. Mahoner 2. Rob from Toronto. Thank you, Rob, for the super chat. Will Royal Caribbean take care of me if I test positive at the terminal during disembarkation at the end of my cruise? During disembarkation? Well, Royal Caribbean won't test you on the end of the cruise. The only reason they would test you... Oh, I see what you're asking. Because you're from Canada. So you're going to go to Royal Caribbean and say, hey, I need a test to get back into Canada. I don't know how that works. Once you're off the ship, you're off the ship. It's different than if you're on the ship. And I can't comment on that. As I mentioned earlier, we're doing a video tomorrow about what happens if you test positive during the cruise. The key here, Mahoner, in my opinion, and again, Rob, I don't know this for a fact, but I believe the issue is where you test positive. If you're in the terminal, I think, you're kind of, they'll certainly give you some ideas of what you should be doing, but if you're expecting Royal Caribbean to I don't know this for a fact, so I don't even want to go. I'm not even going to say it. I will simply say I don't know, but my gut tells me that you're probably on your own if it's in the terminal. Obviously, if you're taking tests on board the ship and you test positive, that's a different story. You're still on board the ship, and yes, then they'll take care of you. But I just don't know what happens like in a scenario in which it's the end of the cruise, you do your test at the. I just don't know for a fact what to expect there, so I can't answer that question. I apologize. I wish I could give you a better answer than that one. Edelweiss, selling on Brilliance the 31st. Hope all goes well. I think I have a great time. Hope it goes as well. Hope it goes well as well for you. There you go. Jonathan checking in from the Freedom of the Seas. What's up, Jonathan? Good to see you. Welcome. Next question is from Ben. What do you think is the average weight gain will be on the world cruise? I hope after like 100 days, you're not eating the same way you did on day one, but yeah, I don't know. It's after 270 days on a ship. I don't know, man. I don't know. Joe wants to know, are we required to take a mid-cruise COVID test? No, the only people required to take a test mid-cruise are unvaccinated children. So if your cruise is more than 4 nights, then you have to take a test usually at the end of the cruise. They'll schedule one for you. But Joe, as a vaccinated adult, no, you will not have to take a COVID test unless, of course, you're not feeling well. So hope that makes sense. Let's see. Gladys, hello and welcome. Daily Thinkers, which Royal Caribbean ships have the single person room, the solo rooms? I have an article of them. I'll post it. Hold on a second. Old red Solo cup. You pick me up Let's have a party. Oh, there it is. I'm like, where the heck is this article that I wrote? I'm going to post it in the chat, Daily Thinkers. Check it on out. It's in chat now. Nice job, brain. Boy, I'm really far behind the chat. There we go. So check the chat. I just posted the URL over there. Madison, happy belated birthday, triplets. When doing the home test, how long can I expect to wait for the video portion? I mean, I haven't done it like I did it most recently in December, but a minute, maybe. Usually it's pretty instant. I've never had much of a wait. So, but it'll tell you if there's a wait, but it's usually very, very short. Katrina says, I am a freeze baby here in Minnesota. I think she means she's cold, unless that's a euphemism for something else. So, kids playing wants to know any news on Wonder with the app or if the March or April sales are still going on. They're still going on. There's no reason to believe they're not. There's been nothing announced, so it is what it is. But Wonder of the Seas will be on the app. I guarantee you it will be there. The fact that it's not there now is just irrelevant. It's just somebody hasn't hit the activate button because nobody's on there yet. But it will be there for those March cruises. Not to worry. Jason's got a good question. What's the best source to find non-Royal Caribbean excursions? It depends on the port. There's a couple places I would recommend. Number one, Resort for a Day. If you're looking for a day pass, that's usually a good resource. Number two, there's a number of pre-COVID, there were other websites like what was it, like Shore Excursion Fox? I don't know. Google is your friend, Jason. What I do, I've done this many times, is I just Google, port name. So you're going to the Bahamas, you're going to Nassau, because Coco Key obviously is Royal Caribbean. So you type in Nassau excursions or tours or something like that. And then kind of the other thing you could do, Jason, is go to the Royal Caribbean blog message board. It's very self-serving, obviously. But we have a shore excursion forum in there and search in there for some good options. Let's see here. Next question. Ted wants to know, what is your number one recommended Royal Caribbean cruise for families? 7-night cruise on an Oasis or Quantum class ship. Either one. 7-night cruise on a Quantum or Oasis class ship is always a good choice for families. Plenty to do on board. Good itinerary, good length, just enough time to have a good mix of sea days and port days. That would absolutely be what I would recommend right there. Damo, thank you for the question. Our cruise qualified for double loyalty points, but cruise was canceled and had a lift and shift to March 23 outside double points deal period. Can I still miss out on the double points? The only reason you would still get double points, Damo, is if you were in that group of sailings that were canceled. Remember those like 4 sailings of Gin, Serenade, Symphony, and something else? If that was those sailings, Royal Caribbean will honor the double points for those, but for the other ones, I don't believe that's the case. I could be wrong on that, but I'd have to. It really depends on when and the situation you canceled and whatnot, or it was canceled for you. Cool Corn Muffin wants to know, what does the Ultimate Family Suite contain? A lot of stuff. There's actually a slide. It's 2 decks, actually, or 2 levels, whatever. There's actually a slide, a dry slide that can take you down from deck level 2 to level 1. There's Legos, there's video games, there's a hot tub. There's obviously a dining area, bedrooms. It's pretty ornate, I gotta say. Fanfic Rocks, thank you for the super chat. Hi, I'm a tad late. Welcome. Is there any fresh news on Australian sailing season? Nothing that I've seen that. No, I don't have any new updates for you, Fanfic. I know you guys are really, really eager for it to happen, but I've not seen any updates one way or another. I'm sorry. But thank you for the super chat, and I'm glad that you are here. Appreciate it. Neela, thank you again for the super chat. Do I need an appointment for the Royal Caribbean eMed COVID test? Nope. Neela, basically, when you have the test in front of you and you're ready to take it, you just open up on your phone. I'd recommend doing it on your phone, not the computer. Open up the Navica app or go to emed.com. Say, I'm ready to test. And then that's it. You're good to go. You do not need an appointment. Brenda wants to know, do they test again on back-to-backs? Yes, because a back-to-back are 2 different sailings, and you need a test for that. And they'll coordinate that with you on board the ship. My recommendation is when you're on sailing number 1, after about a day or 2, go down to guest services. Tell them you're doing a back-to-back and that you need a test for cruise number 2, just to be, a little proactive on that. That should be fine. Ernesto, yo, what happens when you test positive before the cruise? Are you reimbursed for the cruise or is it rescheduled? Great question. If it's 14 days or less before your cruise, so up to 14 days before you're sailing, you have the choice. You can either get your money back, full refund, or deferred, reschedule for another time. Royal Caribbean can work with you on that one. So there you go. Dylan, thank you for the super chat. I'll keep an eye out for. Oh, there's Dylan's question right there. What's your favorite excursion to Roatan? Mayan Princess, Mayan, Mayan Princess. You can book it through Royal Caribbean, or you could book it through Royal Caribbean. I like that quite a bit. Sub Zippo, any suggestions for sea day on Indy? Yeah, you know what my favorite thing to do on a sea day is? Nap time. Love a good nap. Yeah, I mean, in all seriousness, I love taking a nap on a sea day. But otherwise, what's really fun on a sea day? Trivia. Trivia is a great sea day activity. I love going to as many trivias as possible. So there you go. But a nap is important as well. Debbie has a question for us. You get COVID on board, need to be evacuated off the ship. Does Royal Caribbean pay for the air evacuation back to the USA? Yes. More details on that tomorrow's video, Debbie. I have a whole video on this. Check out our channel tomorrow. It will be over there. Rockin' PE, have you ever done the amazing race style excursion in Cozumel? No, but friends of mine did the amazing race style excursion in St. Martin. They thought it was fun. It was a lot. They got really sweaty and they were tired. But I think they had a good time overall. So, there are worse things you could do with your time. Ernesto, my friend, first of all, I just answered your question. I know you wrote this before, but second of all, there's like a bazillion questions. Like I can't get to them all. So I try my best. And I will get to as many as I can, but it is physically impossible unless I'm here for about 8 hours to answer all the questions. It's not personal. Just trying to get to as many as I can because I know you all want to get your questions answered. So I'm trying my best on this one. Jose Crespo is here. What's up, Jose? Do you know if Royal Caribbean is accepting the free at-home test from the government? No, unless it's proctored, Jose. Unless it's the proctored Abatis, which I don't believe it is the case. I wouldn't count on it anyway. So unless it's the proctored one, the answer is no. Kenny K, have a good one, man. Appreciate you stopping by. Always good to see you, Kenny. Hope you and the family are well. Betty Egan with an amazing super chat. Thank you, Betty. I'm getting choked up. I'm looking for your message, but thank you. Johnny wants to know, can me and my wife get a star class suite and then get the teenagers cheap cabin and then have the teenagers stay in our suite? Looking for ways to save money. It depends on the suite because there are capacity limits on there, Johnny. The third and fourth passengers always pay much less than the first and second passengers, so it shouldn't be that much. The issue would be just, if the room can physically hold that many people, quite frankly. But yeah, the answer is probably, but it's kind of a gray area, quite frankly. Tom, what's up, man? Just got off Anthem of the Seas. Was supposed to do a back-to-back, but ended up testing positive. Oh, no. I want to say that Royal treated me with the utmost respect. I was the only one in my party to test positive. Well, I'm sorry that you tested positive and you had to miss out on sailing number 2. But most importantly, love hearing that Royal Caribbean treated you well, Tom. That's fantastic. We've had some questions about this already. And in tomorrow's video, we'll be talking a little bit more about this particular scenario that you ran into. I'm hopeful that you are well and that the symptoms you have are limited and not too bad, and that you'll recover quickly. And most importantly, Tom, you'll be able to start planning a new cruise, maybe even sooner than you thought, because you got to make up for lost time with this one, right? So, yeah. Next question. Next question is from Saeed. What's the best to do for gratuity, end of trip, or prepay? I always do prepay for 2 reasons. Number 1, it helps break up total cost of the cruise. I hate having a bill at the end of the cruise, like running up that bill. So prepaying separates it out. And then number 2, it also locks in the gratuity rate as it is today. If Royal were to increase the gratuity later on, you'd still be paying the lower rate. So for those 2 reasons, I think it's well worth it to prepay. I prefer it that way, quite frankly. Let's see. Can you return merchandise if it doesn't fit you or you don't want it anymore? No. I don't even know, even if you were on the ship, like if you bought it on day 1 and all of a sudden, this large, I really need an XL. Maybe, I don't know. But once you're off that ship, Daily Thinkers, it's eBay fodder at best. Yeah. Steven wants to know, is Icon of the Sea still being built? Absolutely, yes. Mike, where can you find out which ship are in which class? Great question, Mike. Let me give you a URL for that one. Oh, ship class. Ship class. All about Roller Caribbean ship classes. Mike, I'll post this URL in the chat. And that should help you out right there. Now I lost my place in the chat here. We're getting back. 1 minute. I'm working on it. There I am. I made it. Let's see. Dave, thank you for the super chat. Appreciate it. Here's David's question. Is the Wi-Fi good enough on Jewel? Does it support EMET home just for me to get back in the US on repositioning cruise to Amsterdam? Probably not. Jewel's internet's not great. I can't promise you one way or another, but it's not one of the ships that has the super high speed. Worst case, David, you could do it once you get into Amsterdam, and do it from like the airport or somewhere like that. But I can't promise you with 100% certainty that Jewel's internet will hold up pretty well enough for the broadcast on there. So I hope that makes sense. We have some another super chat coming in. Tony Diaz, thank you, Tony, for the super chat. I booked a cruise yesterday, but not on Royal. What? It's on Celebrity? All right, I guess that's okay. But dude? First, you don't take my betting advice and make a lot of money on roulette. Now you're booking Celebrity? Shame, shame, shame. Oh, goodness. Marco wants to know where to get a COVID test, PCR test in Miami. Number one, Marco, you don't have to. Here's what I would do. Number one, you don't, as an adult, adults who are vaccinated, anybody who's vaccinated does not need a PCR test. You can do an antigen test to get on the cruise. I would do that one. Number one. Number two, since you're coming from Chile, get the test in the airport. Whatever you're flying into Miami, Google Miami International Airport COVID test. You can schedule it in advance. That's where you should do it. It's super simple and easy. It's just, you'll thank me later. Anyway, but get the rapid antigen test. You don't need a PCR test to go on the cruise. The PCR takes, 24, 48 hours. The rapid antigen test is like an hour. So I would do that one instead. Is Labadee open? It's supposed to be this week. We'll have a report on it on Thursday because that's when the first ship, Harmony of the Seas, should be visiting. And if that's the case, I'll have a report for you at RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com. Yeah, you know what, Superstar? I love trivia on board. Absolutely. Mike wants to know, can a minor use their diamond drink voucher to purchase drinks for their parents? No. If it's a minor, it's on the minor's card. The system literally won't allow them to do that. Certainly, the minor can purchase like a soda or a bottle of water. Yeah, that's fine. But you can't use your kids' diamond drinks to get beers if that's what you're asking. Jason, you are very welcome, my friend. I'm so glad. The goal of when I started RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com, the goal of the website has always been to help everybody have a better Royal Caribbean cruise, and I am so glad to hear that we are delivering on that. That is fantastic. Susan Lieberman is here checking in from Long Beach. 65 degrees here today, and I'm wearing a sweater. 66 days until Wonder of the Seas. Can't wait. Fanfic Rock says, Matt, if I remember correctly, we're going to have another site for non-Royal Caribbean news. Yeah, it's not so much news, but just general information. But yes, cruise.blog. C-R-U-I-S. Like you don't know how to spell cruise. Cruise.blog is the website. Yep, it's there. Good memory. Do we know what the Broadway show will be on Wonder of the Seas? We do not know what that'll be on there. Well, we're almost at an hour, guys. I got time for another question or two, and then we got to run on out of here because we're running out of time. Sharon Stockman with an epic super chat. Thank you, Sharon. Woo! At least Celebrity is part of Royal Caribbean. He's not going on Carnival or Norwegian, etc. It's true, Sharon. But don't give Tony Diaz an inch. He will take a mile on you, all right? He's just, Tony's a troublemaker. Sharon, you know this. You've been around here long enough. I get so angry. We love Tony. But, yeah, it's true. He could do worse. It could have been worse. Rob wants to know, can I get a test at the terminal? I am vaccinated. There are a limited amount of tests at the terminal. You need to book them in advance, like 24 hours in advance. The Royal Caribbean has the option for you. But, Rob, you should absolutely plan on getting your test somewhere else, somehow else. That's a super backup option, not a primary option. So, airports, urgent cares, the at-home tests are really easy. I would recommend those. I would say the at-home test should be your number one option. emed.com. You can order right now. You'll get it later this week, probably. That's what I would do if I were you. That is actually what I do. Is the at-home test if you're fully vaccinated. Otherwise, CVS, Walgreens, your doctor's office, something like that would be a good option for there. Does Coco Key close if it rains? It doesn't close. Some things will shut down if there's lightning, like the water parks or the pools or whatnot. But but they don't like kick you. Like if it's raining, if it's just drizzling or raining without lightning, no, they don't kick you off the island. You just usually just hang out for it to clear out, because rain is not a full day event at Coco Key. It's just passing shower almost always, because it is the tropics. So there you go. All right, last question of the day is, well, it's going to be from Teresa McShane, because she's put in a super chat. I think it's Teresa. Tony's a troublemaker, and she should just go to bed. See, couldn't have said it better myself. Actually, our last question of the day is from Mayday. Is the Royal Caribbean credit card a good idea? That's a loaded question. How much time we got? 10 seconds. Okay. I think there are better travel credit cards out there. If your goal is to earn credit card points with the sole purpose of earning onboard credit, a free cruise, then the Royal Caribbean credit card is the only game in town. That's the only way you can do it. The problem is, if you may want to use your rewards for other things like airfare or Amazon purchases or other benefits, there are better travel credit cards out there. Not only just for the rewards, but other travel credit cards are actually better in terms of rewarding you with more points for the same amount of money. So it's really a question of do you really just want Royal Caribbean stuff with it, or do you want a better travel credit card? I personally don't own the Royal Caribbean credit card. Again, I just think there are better credit cards out there. But if you want to get free cruises or even just onboard credit from your credit card purchases, yeah, it delivers on that promise exactly. So, yep. I said the last question. We got a couple more we'll get to. Julie, do you have to use your diamond drink vouchers in the Suite Lounge during happy hour? No, the Suite Lounge, the diamond drinks are separate from the Suite Lounge. When you're in the Suite Lounge, Julie, those drinks are part of the suite benefits you get, and they do not count against your diamond drinks. So, let's see here. Kids playing, it'll appear before your cruise. Not to worry. It'll be there eventually. Have no fear. Your app will be there. And last message of the day is from Grumpy V. Thank you again for the super chat. Thanks again for all you do, Matt. We're Disney dissenters, and we'll cruise on Royal because of you. You're in good company. I used to cruise on Disney. I ran away from there and never looked back. There's a lot of folks here in the same way. You will save so much money and still have an amazing time on board, arguably a better time on board, but it's just not worth it. You're in good company. Thank you again, Grumpy V. Thank you to everybody for all your generosity and all your support today. My goodness, what an amazing day. I know we didn't get to every single question, but there are still, if you have other questions to ask, please feel free to go post it on our message boards at RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com. RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com message boards. You can post it over there, or wait till our next live broadcast on Monday. Time for some thank yous tonight. Grumpy and V, thank you. Teresa, thank you. Sharon, thank you. Tony Diaz, thank you. David Grossi, thank you. Betty Eakin, thank you. Dylan, thank you. Neela, thank you. Fanfic, thank you. Rob from Toronto, thank you. Slim M5, thank you. RA, thank you. Neela again, thank you. Randy, thank you. Tote Man Proud, thank you, my friend. David again, thank you. NYC Lover for Life, thank you. Kathy Crandell, thank you. Dave and Sherry, thank you. P&K, thank you. Tomaine, thank you. Cruise Addicts, thank you. Madison Lee, happy belated birthday. Thank you. Good Tea, Nice House, thank you. Ryan, thank you. Tai Wu, thank you. Eric, thank you. Mike Wright, thank you. Kathy, again, thank you. Ray P, thank you. Samantha Brown, thank you. Michael Graham, thank you. The Teresa, thank you. Brian J, thank you. Leroy, thank you. Jay, thank you. David, thank you again. Scotty, thank you. Kim Oakland, as always, thank you. Matt Manuvich, thank you. And Grumpy and V started us off and ended us with super chats. Thank you again very much, guys. Have a great week, everybody. Stay safe out there. Do something fun. And we'll talk again very soon right here on YouTube. Good night, everybody.